Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
Delighted to welcome to the program now Deputy Mayor and also Ward Member for Paikakariki, Janet Holborow. Good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, John. I'm Districtwide Councillor these days, but thank you very much for the welcome.
Of course you are. That's right, because we have Sophie. And isn't she making an impact, young Sophie Hamburger?
What an extraordinary young woman, setting up the self-isolation support Kapiti to help people around the district, all over the district, and also recording beautiful songs on an app that she's downloaded and posting them, which is just beautiful. So what a multi-talented person she is.
No, I did not know about that. She just may appear in the Kiwi Music Hour on Beach FM in that case. I had to hunt you down,
I wouldn't put it past her.
Well, lovely to talk to you, Janet. Since last we talked, the world has changed, hasn't it?
Indeed it has, yes. A whole new world order, or a whole new New Zealand order as well, yeah.
Paikakariki seems to be a community that is very resilient and seems to rise to the occasion, whatever that occasion may be.
Yes, I think there's a lesson to be learnt here, is that if you build a strong community, you are resilient during times that are difficult. You know, for instance, the communication channels that have been set up, the Facebook page, the email, the website, all that stuff that was set up when times were good, comes in even more useful when times are bad. What's been happening this week, which was one of my favourite things, is the Potty Potters have grown a whole lot of seedlings, and there are little Facebook groups that have been set up all over the village. So, and there are some are email groups, some are Facebook groups. So these big trays of seedlings are being dropped off to these little tiny little neighbourhood clusters and then distributed amongst the local street or the local area. And I just planted some lovely pok choi in my garden yesterday. So yeah, it's just incredible that just little things like that, that really bring the community together. And, that's another chance for my street to reconnect with each other as we sort out who would like them and what's going to happen. And so, it's just extraordinary what's happened throughout this whole crisis as well, and the stuff that the Housing Trust are doing and keeping that going. And first of all, in terms of an emergency response, and then in terms of continuity, letting out a couple of newly developed flats in the village here. So it's just absolutely extraordinary what the community are doing, and the community board really instrumental in that as well. And also a local emergency response unit that was set up, again, in good times. I remember maybe a couple of months ago having an emergency activation, which of course was quite different because everybody got in one big room and sorted everything out, which of course wasn't what could happen. But that same group who led that have led some of the online response as well. So that's been absolutely incredible. So just big hats off to the community as to how they've dealt with things through level 4 and ongoing in level 3. So now we're looking at everything kind of starting slowly to reopen. We can get a pizza and a coffee and fish and chips in the village, and everybody was very excited about that. And just looking forward to times getting better, I guess. And
I was saying that she was off to Finn's for fish and chips last week, so that was a wonderful thing. And I imagine that some of the businesses in Paikakariki are slowly getting back to whatever passes as normal these days.
Yes, I believe that a new pizza oven was installed at the Beach Road Deli the other day. Wow. So obviously looking forward to building the business and keeping going. So that's really wonderful. And I think the community are really supporting those local businesses as well.
I wonder if I can talk to you, Janet, about something that affects not only Paikakariki but the entire region, the entire Wellington region, and that is Transmission Gully, the recent announcement that somehow or other we seem to have left some expertise overseas and it's stranded, and it looks as if there is delays. We're not going to make it in November, no doubt about that, but some dark predictions of maybe 1 or 2 years delay for Transmission Gully. How does this affect Paikakariki?
Right, in terms of a local effect, of course, we were really looking forward to Transmission Gully in terms of relieving some of the pressure on our intersection and being able to, of course, access Wellington more easily ourselves as a village. But that main thing was State Highway 1 becoming a local road, and now we're looking, years down the track for that to happen. I'm wondering if we need to fast-track some safety changes at that intersection, because, of course, the argument has always been, we're going to get Transmission Gully, so there's not going to be so much traffic on the road, so it's fine, just wait for Transmission Gully. But if we're waiting another 2 years or so, and I think it could be even longer, then we potentially need to have some safety improvements at our intersection sooner rather than later. So I think that's something that I'd be encouraging the community board to push for and have some serious conversations with NZTA about that, because of course it's a state highway. So it's run by, it's a central government road, not a council road. So that's the first really significant local impact that I would see. The second is that we have ongoing problems with runoff from the Expressway project into the Wainui stream. And we've had some recent posts about that during lockdown. It actually got worse, not better. It's intermittent. So sometimes the stream runs clear. One day it'll be running completely clear, and the next day it'll be full of sediment. So there's clearly something going on there. And during the summer, we had these wonderful baby inanga in the stream, and the stream just seemed to be getting into some good health. But during the lockdown and with the slowdown of the project, it seems to have gone backwards. And Andy Mackay, who's a local and very knowledgeable in that kind of area, he's written an article about it, and I've pointed it out to the regional council. But we need to make sure that those resource consent conditions in terms of the environmental impact of the project are maintained through this longer time period and with less resource to be able to look after the project in a way that's environmentally sustainable. So that would be a major concern from a local point of view. I mean, there are also the wider concerns, how we've got all the congestion on the road that's going to continue. We were looking forward to some projected growth as a result of the completion of these projects, and it just seems extraordinary that we are so decimated. We had a project that was so reliant on overseas expertise and overseas employment that it can be brought to its knees like this. So potentially, in my view, a bit of a lesson to be learnt about procuring local, which is going to be necessary in the short term, but which we shouldn't lose sight of long term.
I think we may be relearning some lessons here. Interesting, the environmental impact of this, and presumably, and this is my presumption, that there are some areas of Transmission Gully that are not yet sealed, and therefore the exposed earth is running off and causing more sediment in the stream. I think that's a reasonable supposition, isn't it?
Well, I don't know exactly where the sediment around here is coming from. I don't have the details around that, but I think you must be right. It would slow down some of that finishing off, which allows it to be, it's just sealed in and completed. So, and then of course a lot of the planting has to wait until the completion of the project as well. So we won't get that restorative planting that's going to be delivered. Some of it gets delivered as it goes along, I think, but judging by what happened with the expressway project down here, a lot of it happened afterwards. After the road was finished, they went in with their backpacks and planted all those, or towards the completion of the project, that planting happened. So we're going to have to wait longer for that as well. So, yeah, it's really unfortunate. I mean, I don't know whether it could have been avoided. It could just be a necessary kind of ill of these times, but certainly, once you start something, you want to finish it, don't you?
And we've been
don't want to leave it halfway through.
We've been waiting decades for Transmission Gully. The saga continues. Lovely to talk to you, Janet. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a lovely day. Bye.
106.3 Beach FM.